Hello everyone. In today's session, I'll be explaining about the characteristics of a good test. So in the previous session, I have explained about the psychological tests and the classification of psychological tests. Let me briefly explain about what psychological tests are and how the psychological tests have been classified. Psychological tests are formalized measures of mental functioning. Most of the psychological tests are objective in nature and can be quantifiable. And the psychological tests are classified into two categories. That is, one type of tests have been classified on the basis of nature of testing, and the other one is based on the nature of the functions of the tests. In today's session, I am dealing with the criteria of good intelligence tests or the characteristics of a good psychological test. Standardization involves developing uniform procedures for administering and scoring a test, as well as to create norms or performance standards for the test. The test directions and the amount of time allowed to complete the test should be the same for all individuals. Standardization allows test creators to construct norms which are created by giving the test to a large group of individuals representative of the population for whom the test is intended. Standardization, as the name implies, is establishing a uniformity of procedures to administer and to score a test. As I already told, a psychological test is a standardized measure. If the scores obtained by different persons are to be comparable, testing conditions must obviously be the same for all. The formulation of directions is a major part of the standardization of a new test. Such standardization extends to the exact materials employed, time limits, oral instructions to be given, preliminary demonstrations, way of handling queries from test takers, and every other detail of the testing situation. Another important step in the standardization of a test, as I already told you, is the establishment of a norms. As its name implies, a norm is a normal or average performance. In the process of standardizing a test, it is administered to a large representative sample of the type of persons for whom it is designed. This group, known as the standardization sample, serves to establish the norms. It might also be noted that norms are established for personality tests in essentially the same way as for aptitude tests. On both types of tests, the norm corresponds to the performance of typical or average persons. Many test experts and educators consider standardization of tests to be a fair and objective method of assessing the academic achievement of students, mainly because the standardized format coupled with computerized scoring reduces the potential for favoritism, bias, or subjective evaluations. On the other hand, subjective human judgment enters into the testing process at various stages. Example, in the selection and presentation of questions or in the subject matter and phrasing of both questions and answer. Subjectivity also enters into the process when test developers set passing scores, a decision that can affect how many students pass or fail or how many achieve a level of performance considered to be proficient. Standardized tests may be used for a wide variety of educational purposes. For example, they may be used to determine a young child's readiness for kindergarten, identify students who need special education, services or specialized academic support, place students in different academic programs or course levels, or award diplomas and other educational certificates. Thank you.